La cultura è a me mi hobby. Del wem e chiud de tuole bo. Ci chi se ve c'è la mave un halla. E c'è cura montare la bontà. Mon père, est-il peut savoir que je film des saisons main picture deviendrait un cinquantaine d'années plus tard. On a créé dont un film créé par son fils à quoi pour être né. Est-il peut savoir qui servait de symbole pour les mauvais changements qui étaient déjà envoyés transformer notre petite île.
This is here for people to enjoy the language. It's either use it or lose it.
Yeah, exactly. So for young people,
Difficult great motto Serle o perdle. Non si può, vedi? Serle o perdle.
So Geraint, what is Jèrriais?
Jèrriais is a particular language which developed here in Jersey. It's got influences from Latin, it's descended from Latin, it's influenced by the Vikings who brought their Norse words here when they settled and set up the Duchy of Normandy, and obviously with long contact with France and England, we've introduced words from French and English and also words from around the world.
Et tout à fait important, c'est pour les gens à parler. Quand les muscles parlent, un timio tous les semaines, car il n'y a personne à la maison à parler avec.
Jersey is still obviously a very beautiful place, but it has changed so much in the last 100 years. Urbanisation, population, occupation, and industries changing from traditional farming and fishing through tourism and now finance taking over. And now Jèrriais got a real challenge to stay alive, not just as a language, but also carry on as part of our cultural identity. So why do you think that happened, and what can we do about it?
I think all languages have their challenges, even English, which is becoming an international language. France sees itself challenged not only by English as an international language, but also by its regional languages, which are reasserting their independence. Jèrriais, of course, was faced with French as the only official language until 1900, and English as the main language of commerce. And Jèrriais never had the official place, which means that we're never trying to recapture an official usage which used to exist. It was always a cultural usage. It was also always a language of community, and it's the sort of community which we're trying to keep going.
Ci trosse presi per sprüle, ci curcio pedale. In e pompes de strale, cano non ha che ben. Tandis che pour moi, ni benuri che ton samo, c'est un peu pour banquer posé. Et ben que nous attend, et ben que nous attend, attend, et ben que nous attend, 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 et ben que nous attend, 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 et ben que nous attend.
Anniversaire, buon anniversaire, a te, chef Terry, buon anniversaire.
You don't say the politician first,
Right, so my first question, guys, if we're ready.
Well, we've done a lot since our first album launch in the Royal Square. We've done quite a lot of stuff. What have we done? We've done gigs all over Jersey, France,
For the festival.
and up at Grante. Yeah, we did the what's it called? The Sunset concert at Grante.
Yeah.
We've played on the top of a hill with a dancing puffin.
Oh, you know what to do.
Portuguese Social Club, do you remember that?
Portuguese, wow, yeah.
After Jèrriais Live.
Yeah. Jersey Live, folklore. So we've done a lot of stuff. Do you think we're making any difference to the future of Jèrriais? Or are we just having a laugh?
In a small way, yes, I think we have made a...
And they love the songs, the kids.
The kids at the schools love the songs.
Also, Badbecks have got their own little fan club. I don't know if you've noticed, but there is a little following of people that always seem to be.
They come and they sing
At
along.
various
They sing along in
concerts.
choruses and things.
Yeah,
Mm.
and dancing and there's other people.
And these are adults, right?
Yeah, these are.
I know exactly.
You commissioned me to produce some music for schools, out of which Badlebeck was formed. How helpful has that been, and what role do you think music can play in the revitalisation programme?
I think it's been very important to have something modern in terms of a revitalisation programme. Getting some contemporary interpretations meant that we could go straight into presenting the heritage, but not necessarily from this is old stuff, it's boring, it's out of date. Now we can say this is all contemporary, this is going on now, this is why we have these things which are different from other places, and also presenting it in a catchy way, which basically gives each theme a theme tune.
Et la musique, comment la musique peut aider?
Ah ben ça, c'est une nouvelle chanson avec des bons musiciens. Écoutez, oui, car ils sont très bons musiciens. Tandis qu'ils n'écrivent pas rien pour la politique, c'est magnifique.
I think culture for me, without going into all the various definitions, is about well-being of the individual. And that means equally understanding where people have come from and where they are now. And it's about people and making a difference and all those sorts of things. And I think for us, we have a requirement, a need to keep the language alive. But I think my concern was when I first came in as an assistant minister 3 years ago, was how could you do that when there didn't seem to be a lot of succession planning. The Badlebecks was very embryonic at that point in time, and there didn't seem to be that connection with the youth. And I think that's where it really runs. It is that there are the people who still speak it today, who meet on a regular basis, who are of the past, as it were. But if you want to keep a language alive, you've somehow got to engage the kids and get them focused on it and make them understand why it's important and why it's different.
So that's the question, is we've got this special language as part of our history and our heritage, but do you think it's a good idea to keep it alive? Or should we just say, well, no one really speaks it, I can't be bothered? What do you think? Show of hands, should we keep it alive?
Be interesting.
Yeah, so it's kind of split, but that's cool.
There's only a few hundred people that speak it in this island, and anywhere else in the world, I don't think there'll be anyone. So if I go somewhere like Germany, if I speak it there, no one have a clue.
That's true, yeah, and that's a really good point, because if we're going to spend some of our resources teaching Jèrriais in schools, then that could be money we could be spending teaching German.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point. I guess one of the questions that I have about that is, if we've got this special language that's unique to us, that's part of our history, wouldn't it be a bit of a shame to let it disappear completely?
Yeah, well, actually, it would be a shame, but I just wouldn't see why it would be helpful. That's just what I think.
And then one answer to that is possibly that if we had Jèrriais really popular in Jersey, then anyone coming to Jersey could join in with that. And it's a way of sharing, whether you're born here or not, whether you're rich or poor, whether you've got different backgrounds. It's a way of sharing that Jerseyness, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So it might help to sort of unite people within the island. What do you think about that?
Actually, yeah, we would. If some people come over speaking Jèrriais and we would just learn it.
So it could help with a sense of community, maybe.
Yeah.
I suppose it's what makes Jersey people unique. I suppose it's being able to have something that you can say.
Yes,
we are our own South, you know, as an island. We're separate to France and the UK, and this is what we have. This is something that is unique to us. That makes us stand apart. Something we can be proud of, and I think that's quite important as a community, or as a culture, that you've got something that is that little bit different.
I think it's one of those things that the past informs the present, and this is it's that kind of golden thread of existence that runs all the way through, and people kind of recognise it.
And here's another question: do you think that music can help to keep the language alive?
Definitely.
Yeah?
Well, a lot of people listen to music, like even if you're young or old, so everyone would be listening to it, and you could just pick up words as you go, and then you might think like, oh, I know a little bit now, I might want to get a class to kind of learn the whole language. So I think it would definitely spark off interest in people to learn it.
What about making some Jèrriais music? Would that help you to learn it if you were going to sing in Jèrriais? Yeah, Charlotte, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I really think it would help, because it would spark off interest, like Brooke said, and it would really just have an interesting way of learning it.
And that is if you're actually singing in Jèrriais?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Or rapping. Do you fancy rapping in Jèrriais?
Well, other people might.
Fair enough.
la rendesi ya de mon naissance tu me poses ben près du cœur. Oh, ci tu souvenir du bon temps hier, mon vieux petit Jèrriais, la rendesi.
What I think is the conundrum at the moment, we're in a stage where we're essentially about preserving or documenting Jèrriais, and I don't know how you get to the point about it needs to be organic. It needs to be it's to be preserved and spoken. There needs to be an organic demand for that, and I don't see that we're quite at that stage yet as a society. And we've developed, I'm not going to say exponentially, but very much since 1945 now in terms of population. It's basically doubled. Demographics are completely different. A very cosmopolitan society. So I think that's one of the challenges, but perhaps maybe there's a demand for something that's authentic.
The death of Jèrriais has been imminently predicted since the early 19th century, still hanging on. The thing is that in order to save Jèrriais, it must be used. Jèrriais is Jersey's hidden treasure. It's up to us to dig it up and share it with everyone.
I think it's down to young people to understand what Jèrriais means, really, to them. And to do that, music's a really good vehicle because it captures, we learn from the past, it captures those parts of the past that we remember. It is, once again, that golden thread. And it allows young people to connect, and that's the thing that will really keep it alive. So you've got to connect with them, and they then have to connect subsequently with others, and that will keep the language alive.
Légion Jèrriais, font-ils coursier même par les yeux inconnus du siècle divin? Ou fiottent-ils selon la marée? J'ai l'impression que la langue de nos ancêtres je leur prendrai-t et chantant-y en 9 chansons à tu dis. La fin du temps fas-tu ver. Mais pour acheter, dansons.
Tony che bomba di impero di che danza. A se non le bomba che bombe e